start with the Fiesta Bowl, Penn State, Boise State. Final score 31-14, a little bit misleading because I think Boise State, hung in that game. Like they weren't out of it. And I thought they acquitted themselves well. Ashton Jenty did not get much going on. It was not a good game for him. He fumbled the ball. He had a season low, 104 yards on 30 carries, just 3.5 yards per carry. Penn State really did control this game. It was exactly kind of how we expected it to be. But I thought that after, kind of the initial get used to the game for Boise State, like that they did play well enough. But the story to me is Penn State. Their path led them to this moment. We all thought they could definitely get to the semifinals. They beat a group of 5 team. They beat a team that was in the group of 5 last year. They did what they were supposed to do. This is a Penn State team that the barriers were removed. They did not have to go through Michigan and Ohio State to access the playoff. And they lose to Ohio State. And they still get in. And here they are. Like this opportunity was given to them and they have taken advantage of it. And to me, that's the story for Penn State right now. That they did what they're supposed to do.
No doubt. And it's a big deal for them now to be in a semifinal game. I think this is the one where they really have to show up with their best stuff because it's the one that can change the narrative the most. I do think there are a lot of people, and the real skeptical people would look at it and be like, well, they beat a group of 5 team and a team that just came out of group of 5. And I feel like we need to not do that because we discredit James Franklin enough. He wins when he's supposed to generally, right? And these were the supposed to win games. Now he's in one of those where it's like, maybe you're not supposed to win. It's going to be a tight game. I think it would go a long way for him to win this. In terms of the game plan for this one, I thought Penn State's defense did exactly what they were supposed to. They went out there, they made the game really difficult for Ashton Jenty, probably looked as normal as he's ever looked. And then they made Boise State throw the football. And I've been saying this, I don't think Penn State's very dynamic secondary. I don't think they run very well. Boise State was able to throw the ball around. But when it mattered toward the end of the game, they were also able to take the football away. And so I thought the defensive game plan was airtight for them. I still have an issue with this offense, and Andy Kotelnicki was brought in to do very specific things. He needed to create a dynamic offense that had different movement, pre-snap, shifts, motions, and then different personnel groupings to really get players to rise above maybe how good they are and the scheme could elevate them. And I thought there were many times where he got too cute, where your running backs are going for 7 yards a carry. And in particular on inside zone plays, they are tearing the Boise State defense up. You want to drop back, throw a pass. You want to throw a trick play in there. You want to just like too many things that were unnecessary. That would be the thing that would stop Penn State right now. You get against a Notre Dame defense that is going to be much better than what they saw. I think you got to go to what's working and you got to continue to do it. And if that means that you're handing it off and it's inside zone and you don't get to do some of the more creative things, like that's what a great coordinator is going to do. They're going to play the boring game. And so I'm curious to see what the evolution of this offense continues to look like.
We've said this all year, though, that's been the question, right? Like it's not just that like he's getting too cute or there's too much pre-snap motion when like there really doesn't need to be. It's that like the plays don't always make sense and they don't always like Chris Sims would always say it, they don't string together. Yes. And that's very apparent when you're watching these teams. Like Penn State should have been able to grab control of this game and make it not a game. Like, especially the way they started, it looked like they were teetering on that where this was going to be a blowout. But it was Penn State's own play calling that kept Boise State in the game and allowed them to get comfortable. And again, it's not like they had a chance to win the game, but that they were in it. And it didn't need to go that way. Like, it felt like Penn State had the potential to blow them out. And they didn't do that because of what you're saying. They didn't kind of just like, all right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do it better than you. Let's just keep doing it. They did try to get some brownie points, some highlight reel plays, right? Some different stuff that was happening that they didn't really need to do. So it will be interesting. And they are slight underdogs. The line I saw, I don't know if it's what it is right now as you guys are listening to this podcast, was like 1.5 points Notre Dame favored.
That's what I saw as well.
In the Orange Bowl. So, this is where it becomes a big opportunity for James Franklin because no matter who you are, people are going to discredit those first 2 games because of the opponent, right? And I'm with you. Like, you deserve credit for winning big games, even if you're supposed to win them. Like, I think there was still a step taken for Penn State, but there are a lot of people that would say, like, there hasn't necessarily been until this opportunity here against
Right.
Notre Dame. The idea where you could have a potential rematch with Ohio State in a national championship game or Texas, right? Either way, like from here on out, these are big, big games. And these are the types of games that under James Franklin, Penn State has not historically won. So that's where the opportunity comes. And if Penn State's offense, which has a lot of weapons, has great running backs, has an otherworldly tight end who can do a lot of different things. We've seen really good Drew Aller. We've seen like that kind of pro potential out of him the last couple of games. They're going to have to prove it against, again, an elite defense in Notre Dame. And that's what's really fun about this next round is because of what's at stake here for Penn State, for them to prove it and for them to have taken advantage of a path. Like we said, yes, this was an easy path. Well, you know what? They made it look easy. They did what they needed to do to be in the position to get to the semifinal. I did want to say too, I agree with you on the defensive game plan. They said it going in. Tom Allen said like it's got to be multiple guys because you got to get Ashton Jenty on the ground. You saw that. Like they were swarming to him to make sure that they could get him down because he's so good after contact. But I did want to take a quick moment and say Ashton Jenty was a phenomenal college football player.
No doubt.
And it was very cool, regardless of everything else, that he got to end his career in the college football playoff. I think we paid extra attention to Boise State because of the expanded playoff, because they had the potential to make it. And so he did not have a great day. It was a really tough day for him. Penn State made it really tough on him. But what a career and what a season for Boise State. So I just want to make sure we gave him their due.
No doubt. And him signing autographs after the game and everything too. It's like, it's he handled the spotlight and being one of the best players in college football the right way. And I appreciate seeing that out of him as well.